We recently broke down the story of Trump talking about the massive amount of Chicago homicides, and now, of course, the right wing is going crazy because it's very scary and it's a war zone and stuff like that. But former Fox News host Greta Van Susteren has called for a military lockdown in Chicago, and you know what? We talked about this in the past, in the last time I talked about this. But this would be one of the worst ideas possible. So not only would it be using the military to literally go into a city, that first of all is not. That's just scary because then it would be basically taking over the government in that area by the military. But here's the main point though. That's not going to help anything, and I can promise you that because that that whole process, number one, it's the same conundrum that the U.S. finds themselves in every time they go into some Middle East country. You can't fucking stabilize it that way. That's not a stabilizer. So what is the stabilizer, you're asking? What the stabilizer is, and I said this in the last video, so I'm not trying to just repeat what I said last time, but you need to go in and you need to give them incentives to do things in life that are not as a result of a bad quality upbringing. So, for example, education needs to be improved massively because those cities that probably has the most homicides, I know that their education system is not that great. I mean, they were probably so underfunded, and the teachers are probably garbage, and not always to their fault because honestly, once the kids are bad, it's pretty tough for the teacher as well. But the point is that when the education system is very underfunded and it's very low quality, there is a very strong lack of motivation by the kids because the environment is shit. No one's working around you. You don't want to work. There's no one in your household to tell you how you should go about it and teach you the discipline that you need in order to do that because it does take a lot of discipline. And when you see how underfunded it is and how outmatched you are in by other schools, it's really hard to be up to par with that because how are you at a very underfunded school with barely enough money, if any money, to get books, going to try and perform as well as the school over there that has books and now they're getting iPads and Chromebooks and all this stuff, right? So that's the one thing. First of all, education needs to be massively improved. And then there needs to be a program where there's incentives for people to get jobs and incentives for people to stay away from committing homicides, right? There needs to be programs because as soon as people get jobs, they are busy and they don't want to do that because they're, first of all, they're busy, they're making money, and they are feeling a sense of accomplishment in life. Now, why would I want to throw my life away by committing a homicide? Why would I want to do that to someone? And also, as someone goes back to family values too, because all you got to think about when it comes to what they're doing is the golden rule. I mean, why would you kill somebody when if someone killed someone in your family, how would their family feel? You put yourself in their shoes, right? So when that's not really there in their minds, there needs to be someone to show it to them. A military going in and pretty much it'd be martial law. I mean, oh my god, that's so scary. There is no way in hell that's going to teach them. They're just going to get more angry. They're going to be basically demeaning them, and we see this all the time too. They'd go in and they would take whatever they have, they would put it on lockdown. They would just demean them, make fun of them, put them in fences and camps and stuff like that. You cannot do that. You cannot, absolutely cannot do that. It would not help anything. It would make them more angry, and the response would be so much worse. There would be zero stabilization, and this is probably one of the worst proposed solutions there is to combat this.